Hello there, Kathrina. Thank you for getting your essays back to us so quickly. It's really nice to see. Well done for producing these. Let's dive straight in and have a read. This is Andrew, by the way, on behalf of Ben. I'll be correcting your essays today and giving you some more advice. I hope you're enjoying the course so far. I think I can already see an improvement. So, the bar graph shows the different sources of calories in 3 age groups for the males in Britain. I would just say for males. We're referring to a group, an abstract group, so the bar graph shows the different sources of calories across 3 age groups for males in Britain. It can be seen that for the age 0 to 24, dairy products are of the highest consumption at 43%, while meat and vegetables are of equal amounts at 20%. British males aged 25 to 49, so there's no need for a comma there, have noticeably taken 50% of their calories from meat. So that's the wrong way around there. British males aged 25 to 49, this group here, have taken half of their calories from meat, which is the orange graph. The orange line, sorry. They didn't take 50% of all the meat. They took 50% of their calories from meat. There we go. So then I would use a semicolon there to separate these sentences, because you've made quite a firm statement there. Then a semicolon and say, however, dairy, the next favourite, only accounts for half of the quantity of calories that meat provides, or 25%. Vegetables and pulses were consumed the least at 15 and 10% respectively. Don't forget your signs and symbols. That is a percentage, isn't it? Yeah, percentage of total intake. The over 50s, or those over 50, those over the age of 50, consume 65% of their calories in pulses. This is the highest recorded intake of calories in the graph for British males. Cool. Vegetables as an energy source are chosen least or least frequently. Vegetables as an energy source are chosen the least frequently by this age group at only 10%. Consumption of meat is roughly the same at 20% for the 0 to 24 age group. It is clear that the intake of calories in different sources varies, I would say, depending on the age group. There is also, what I would say, each age group has its own strong personal preference. The younger consume more dairy, the middle-aged consume more meat, and the elderly consume more beans and pulses. So here you have run through the individual points from each bar, and here you have run through the points for each age group. I would have liked to have seen that slightly more separated. So in this paragraph here, only referring to the trends in this group. And then in this paragraph here, only referring to the trends of ages. 2 separate paragraphs, trends of consumption, trends of age, and then your conclusion here at the end. You were right, it varies considerably across age group, and each age group has a very strong preference. The only item that is never strongly preferred by anyone is vegetables. So we have some the ability to talk without having to reference data, because we've done data data, and then in our conclusion, we're just going to stick to words. So we're just going to summarize the whole graph, major trends, in words alone. Cool. You've not struggled whatsoever to recount the data. In trying to stay varied, your sentences have become a little bit muddled, he says. I think a little bit of revision into prepositions would work well for you. At, of, from, blah, blah, blah. So articles, prepositions, and, yeah, the little tiny words. The 2 or 3 letter words that occur incredibly frequently are grammatically imperative, and they cause quite some difficulty if they're not gotten right. And this is exactly what these essay corrections are good for. Pointing out small errors over time allows your brain to notice them when you make them. And then when you go back to proofread your answer, you will have the ability to spot your own errors, increasing your score. But remember to proofread, in the exam particularly. Let's move on to your second one, copyright. So it is undeniable that copyright laws have been largely disregarded by many. So it is undeniable that copyright laws have been disregarded by many. It's a little bit strong because we can't prove that. I would say, because again, it is deniable. I could deny it. I could offer you some proof to suggest that that's not true. So rather than using such strong language here, let's say it is noticeable, or it has been noticed, that many people have simply disregarded copyright laws since the advent of the internet. Okay, so now I'd be looking for an explanation as to why. Rules and regulations are to be implemented at all times. This is not only to protect the intellectual property of authors or artists, but also to secure the economic security of society. Cool. This essay will discuss issues using examples from Spotify and effects. Okay. So this essay will discuss I would just stick to one of these. So I'd say this essay will discuss the issues surrounding piracy, or the effects of piracy, using examples from Spotify to demonstrate points and support arguments. There we go. Firstly, the artist is being rewarded through marketing opportunities via the internet due to its popularity and accessibility. Here I would say artists are being rewarded, or artists could be rewarded, because we're saying marketing opportunities via the internet due to its popularity and accessibility. Cool, it's easy to get to, everyone's on it, so this does present marketing opportunities, but this does not mean that the artist is being rewarded. There are many artists who are not being rewarded in the slightest. So let's switch to conditional, assuming that everything is good, Firstly, artists could be rewarded through marketing opportunities via the internet due to its popularity and accessibility. So the introduction of the conditional there makes that sentence truly accurate. Most websites often have property claims to protect and guard against interests and their original work. Protect and guard artists' interests, the interests of artists. Let's not forget our plurals, we're talking about a group, because you've even said here their original work as well, so I'm guessing we're referring to the group artists and not just one. For example, the app Spotify is gaining credibility, or gaining is gaining credits through mass production. Spotify does not mass produce anything. Thus, it is clear that a copyright law allows credit to the artist by preserving intellectual property rights. Okay, so I would say, for example, the app Spotify is able to give back to the music industry from profits made or from royalties gained. When we talk about receiving money for having produced a piece of work, that is a royalty. We get royalties every time someone listens to a song that we wrote. So the app Spotify is generating royalties through the mass availability of artists' work, but it is imperative that these works are protected under copyright laws to preserve the revenue stream of the artists. The only reason I'm changing so much there is to make this flow all the way. I want us to start on marketing opportunities that could be available to artists, and I want to finish on how copyright laws allow that to happen, how it is only possible with copyright laws. And you've done a great job, but we just need to make it a little bit more focused, just a little bit. Your writing is actually incredibly smooth, much smoother than many people's we get in, so the corrections I'm giving you are slightly more advanced. So secondly, rules and regulations pertaining to patent laws should be strictly adhered to in order to protect rights. So secondly, rules and regulations pertaining to patent is not, it doesn't cover everything that we're talking about. Copyright laws specifically deal with what we're talking about. Patent laws are a form of copyright protection, but they're for new inventions, innovations, physical objects, or solutions that you have created and intend to market or sell. But you don't, say, take out a patent on a song. So let's say, secondly, rules and regulations pertaining to the protection of intellectual property should be strictly adhered to. So that's a good topic sentence. And then next, this is imperative, or this is fundamental to protecting the rights of consumers and their relationships with businesses. Disregarding such laws could create imbalance, as people could easily steal intellectual property through social media by downloading it and sharing it to different websites or servers. A computer that hosts a website is called a server. For instance, a local movie, The Love to Last in the Philippines, was illegally transmitted to Facebook before it was showed in cinemas. This resulted in losses of revenue from the movie, or this resulted in great losses of revenue for the studio that produced the movie. Thus, piracy in many forms could directly affect the economic growth of the film industry and society. There's no "the" before society, unless referring to a distant society. You know, that society over there, their society. But for us, referring to our own society, we would just say it is good for society. In conclusion, it is clear that copyright laws foster security of the authors and their original work, which could be a reward for further inspiration. Without patent laws, it is probable that society could suffer unfavourable effects to the economy. Cool. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's exactly the reason. The court system, the system of protection, permits people to actually make money from their work. Without that simply would not be possible. Well, they were brilliant. Thanks very much for sending those in, Kathrina. I thoroughly enjoyed reading them. If you could go through and correct some of those sentences just for better flow. Like, I understood everything you were trying to say, but let's try for a little bit more focus in the paragraphs by ensuring the idea flows straight through. And those articles and prepositions, let's get noticing those with every correction so that your writing flows a lot smoother. But well done. They were really, really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing your next ones come through. So that's it for today. In your next email, send us your error list, your new essays, and these ones corrected. Don't forget that. It's very important to take note of your errors. Well done again, and speak to you soon, Kathrina. Bye-bye now.